Everybody's, oh yes, it says sharing my window. All right, well, thank you all for joining us today. We're looking forward to a great presentation on the Small Business Environmental Assistance Program, operational structures and core functions. Our agenda today is for myself from New Hampshire. I'm the actual co-chair of the Education Subcommittee, and then Jennifer from Iowa, and Kurt from Louisiana, and Diana from Texas. That is our order of our presentations. I will be presenting some of the data that we collected from many of you who sent 2024 data to us that we put out this year. Changes a little bit every year based on what we think we want to share and learn. And a lot of that data is also included in our annual report. And if you haven't seen the annual report in a long time, it's up on our webpage still under annual part. While that webpage is not currently being updated very frequently, it does have the annual report and it's still live. Let's see. All right, so moving on. Oh, please hold questions until the end of the presentation, so each of our presenters have time to get through what they want to share with us today. All right. So today we wanted to review some operational structures of how the 507 programs or your small business environmental assistance programs are set up in every state. We had 37 programs reported in 2024, and that's about as good as we have gotten in the past. We've gotten as low as 30 to about 38, so we feel pretty good with that number. Would love to see that number go up, and if some of you did not submit data from last year or in the past, maybe this is your encouragement to try to do so in future surveys. And that data is only shared, other than the annual report, which is a cumulative, a quantitative amount of information that our programs do across the country. We don't share individual things to anyone unless, I can't even think of a reason why we would do that. Well, I guess today I'm going to share a few individual informations, but it's really just to see how everything is going on in the state. All right, so of the 37 programs that reported, 31 of them are located at regulatory agencies. Most of them are environmental, air pollution control. Some of them are in sections that include sustainability, even financial. I loved a couple of the names were the innovative partnership planning. There was one for business assistance. I believe that is Connecticut on their concierge system. That's a kind of interesting group down there too. And then my favorite one was the Sustainability Division of Climate Change Mitigation and Monitoring. I think that's a great place to be located to remember that small businesses can help and can support reduction of emissions, reduction of waste, and whatever we can do to be a part of this great world that we are part of. We had one small business developmental center respond to our survey, and yet I know there are more than just one out there. So I appreciate to Idaho for filling out their report. I'm not sure why the other states did not, but I would love to see their data come out next year. We had 2 colleges and universities report out, and one of them is going to give a presentation today, and I think there's possibly more. Some of them are supportive of the programs or partners with the programs, and we would love to see their data if they're able to. We had 2 counties, and one of them was in Arizona, and I think the other one was Nevada. I could be wrong, I can't remember, but we did get another county come through. And then we have one at the Department of Commerce, and I wish I could do a poll on who do you think that is, but that was Illinois. They have been at the Department of Commerce for as long as I'm aware of their program. All right, some of the core functions of those 37 programs that reported, 32 of them provided site visits. I think that's one of our core features functions that we provide. Now, those site visits could be anywhere from one media to multiple medias. Some of them are partnered with other nonprofits. Some of them are third-party contractors. Some of them are, what's the other one? There's one more. Oh, retired engineers out there. But many of us provide site visits or site assessments at one part of our job. 31 of those programs also provide permit assistant, and that could be anywhere from just air permits to coming up with calculations to determining if someone needs a permit. It doesn't have to be air, it could be waste, it could be notifications, it could be record notifications and registrations, like I do some groundwater registrations and interpretations of what they need to do for that. But most of us are providing some type of permit assistant, however you may define that in your state and your program. And this was something that came up yesterday during the National Steering Committee, was 33 of those programs are multimedia. And I was surprised by that. We hear a lot that many are air only, and there are a few that are air only, but majority of them are doing a little bit of everything. And when I say a little bit of everything, I mean some of them are providing so multimedia. The cells on the Excel spreadsheets were very, very large because they were just pretty much doing everything. But you can see that many of us do work in water, whether it's stormwater, groundwater, or wastewater. Waste includes hazardous, solid recycling, a lot of P2, a lot of air was air and P2. There was a lot of sustainability, energy, some financial. Radon is a big topic. Tanks, both above and underground, and many, many more different subcategories of assistance that we provide. And that's something really important to think about, because if many of us are only funded through 507 Clean Air Act money from Title V emissions, but yet we are actually providing services throughout the agency that we provide. So we know a little bit about everything. And I always think that's kind of a fantastic way to see the world, is that we're not in a silo. We see things out there. We're out in the field, so we see what the small businesses need. And a lot of regulatory staff don't get that one-on-one connections that we get with small businesses. So it was really interesting to read. All right, and then I really enjoyed this one more data point. Of the 37 programs, we created 277 new publications. I mean, that's an amazing number that we are creating lots of new publications. This was not even updated publications, new publications. And we need to do, and I'm asking you to do a better job of sharing those new publications on our SBEAP main listserv. And if you should be getting that information on the main listserv. That's how you were invited to come to this webinar. And we really want to help promote what you're doing and how to share that information. And it's true that I might not, or that somebody else might not be interested in that specific topic because they're air only and they're not interested in the waste topics. However, your format may be really interesting, or your header, or you're using 2 columns, or the photos that you're using, or the tone that you're using, and structural, all of that is helpful for other programs to review to see, oh, that looks like a really good idea. I could do that. I could format that. And maybe that's a conversation. Well, how did you get that format? How did you get that letterhead? And how did you do all that? But if we don't share that, we don't get inspired. And would also love to see videos as well being shared. I do know some states are creating videos and we're just forgetting to share them with each other. So let's work on that to try to promote each other, promote ourselves, and to expand our network and to make sure we're including as many people as possible, because we would love to share that with everyone. And that is the end of mine. So I am going to stop sharing. And then I'm going to pass that on to our next presenter, which is Jennifer from Iowa.
Perfect. Can you see my screen, Sarah?
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. So apparently I have 10 minutes to share everything about our program. So this will just be a very high level overview of what we're doing and kind of how we're set up here in Iowa. So as Sarah mentioned, my name is Jennifer Winberg, and I'm the program manager for our environmental assistance, what we call our pillar at the Iowa Waste Reduction Center. There are 2 others from Iowa on our call today. We have Jordan Henniges, who works with me here at the IWRC, as well as our small business ombudsman here in Iowa, Christine Paulson. All right, so about our program. So we are located at the University of Northern Iowa, which is in Cedar Falls, which is in the northeast part of the state. The Iowa Air Emissions Assistance Program is our Small Business Environmental Assistance Program, or SBEAP. So when I refer to the SBEAP, I'm referring specifically to our air program here in Iowa. We are housed within the Iowa Waste Reduction Center. That's where our staff is. And the Iowa Waste Reduction Center was actually created in 1987. And when it was created, the legislation stated that that the center would be located at the University of Northern Iowa, and it also developed a funding source for us, so which was really great. And so the center receives, I believe it's 25 cents per ton of garbage that goes to the landfill, so part of the landfill tipping fees. So that is our base or core funding, and then we have various grants and contracts that allow us to do additional work outside of the assistance that was set up originally with the Iowa Waste Reduction Center. And those are just our, I guess, our mottos and, what we are trying to do here in this state. Our staff at the IWRC, we have 12 full-time staff members. You may recognize some of these people here. Joe Bullock, who's the top left, is our director. He's also is very involved in the National Pollution Prevention Roundtable as well. Next to him is Dan Nicky, who was very involved in SBEAP several years ago and has kind of stepped away from that a little bit, although he does still provide assistance with the AIR program as well as our environmental assistance. And then I'm the fourth one on the top there, Jennifer Wittenberg. And then Jordan Henniges is down at the bottom left. So as I mentioned, I'm the program manager of our environmental assistance pillar. At the IWRC, we have 4 different pillars. So the other 3 are energy efficiency, which Dan Nicky has kind of taken over that pillar. Food, beverage, and organics, which includes food waste projects and composting. And then we also do painter training and education. And so you may have heard of our center through that as well. We have the virtual reality painting system that was originally developed at the IWRC and is now, one of the gentlemen who used to work for us has now taken that technology and started a business with that. But we still use that within our training that we provide for painter training. So I'd love to talk more about that at some point, but we only have 10 minutes. So as you can see under the environmental assistance pillar, we do provide multimedia assistance. So I'll talk more about the air quality. So we do cover all of the other environmental regulations, and we help small businesses with all of those, permitting, record keeping, land development, just compliance with those rules. So I was asked to speak about the benefits of working at the university. I think one of the biggest benefits for us is that we are able to let the businesses know that we work with that we are located at UNI and we're UNI staff, and having that clear distinction from the DNR is very helpful. Not that it's a bad thing, but it definitely seems like sometimes businesses are more open to talk to us about what's really going on if we can develop that clear distinction from the regulatory agency. Another great resource, there's a lot of great resources working at the university. So we have access to the IT department, web development support, which has been really big for us. I have a couple programs I'll talk about that we were able to develop. We have faculty expertise. We actually have an economist who is a professor at UNI who is on our staff. She's just a small portion of her time is dedicated to helping us with different projects here at the center. And then I feel like the biggest thing that is beneficial for us is having access to students. And so having that ability to hire students and bring them on to, learn about the things that we're doing here is very beneficial. And then we've also been able to take some of those students who have been our interns and we've actually hired them as full-time staff. So Jordan was actually one of those people that was a student, and she did a great job as a student, and we offered her a position after she graduated. So that's, I think, probably my favorite benefit of working at the university is having access to those student interns, and they are considered on-campus positions. So that's a nice thing for those students. And then I would say, just having that ability to use the university name when we're working with different industries or different developing partnerships is really nice. So a little bit about our program. We are a 1.95 FTE program. We have a contract, and so this is specifically for the air program. We have a contract with the Iowa Department of Natural Resources Air Quality Bureau for about $230,000. And we provide a mix of technical compliance as well as education. The assistance that we provide really falls under 3 different categories for the most part, and that's permitting, record keeping, and reporting. When it comes to permitting, like Sarah was mentioning before, we kind of do all aspects of that. So we help facilities identify sources that may be subject to permitting, see if there's any exemptions that are in Iowa code that apply to their process. We help them develop, kind of identify the information if they do need a permit, what information will be needed for that application, help them with calculations, and then guide them through using the online electronic application system that Iowa has. Record keeping, of course, when you have permits, you're going to have some record keeping requirements. And so we help develop kind of some tools and resources for businesses to use and then guide them through, what they need to do for record keeping. And then reporting, that primary falls under the emission inventory requirements. We do a lot of work with businesses related to that, just helping them understand what needs to be reported, how to calculate their emissions, and then once again, using the online emissions inventory tool or reporting system. We provide assistance both on site, and then majority of I would say our assistance comes through phone, email, and video conferencing. And then last, similar to many of our programs, we do a lot of resource development, developing summaries of regulations and tools for different compliance, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. When we do our work plan that we have with the DNR is submitted every January, late January. And what we do is we outline what we're going to work on for the next contract. So we always include our core duties, which are that direct assistance under the permitting, record keeping, and reporting. And then we also try to identify any new projects or any resources that we need to develop. An example for this year is we've had a lot of success working with businesses here in Iowa to help them with the online systems, both through permitting and emission inventory. So the DNR asked for some assistance in helping businesses with their online asbestos notification system, as that will be a requirement, or that will go to a required online application here in the future. So they wanted to see if we could help businesses with that. So we'll be doing that this year. And then we also updated one of our online record keeping or permitting systems called the Grain PTE program. And then, of course, or similar to what many states do have, we have some compliance calendars that we're updating. I think one thing that is unique and very important that we started here a few years back was we have quarterly meetings with DNR staff to discuss projects and permitting and any concerns, or just a way for us to communicate on a regular basis with Christine, our SBO, who is also our contract manager, who's great, along with several of the program managers at DNR. Here's just a quick peek at some of the tools and resources that we've developed recently. As I mentioned, we have compliance calendars, both dry cleaning and gas bulk plants that we do on a regular basis. We developed a self-audit guide a few years ago. And then as some of the NESHAP stuff came out with requirements for SEDRI, we developed a SEDRI guide for both setting up an account and submitting information. And then the bottom two, Grain PTE and Paint Tracker, are online systems that we were able to utilize the university web development team to help us develop these online tools. The first one helps grain elevators with their permitting and record keeping requirements, and then Paint Tracker is for, which I presented on before to this group, is for painting and coding the record keeping requirements. And then to wrap up, these are just a few of the industries that are really common that we work with here in the state of Iowa. So I just thought I'd share that with you because I feel like this is different in each state, similar but different. We really here in the state of Iowa do a lot of focus on grain elevators and feed mills, and I know not every state has those. So that's a very unique, maybe Iowa or Midwest thing. But yeah, so I thought I would share those with you. And other than that, that's all I have for you. So I tried my best to get it at 10 minutes. Hopefully I did okay. And I think we're going to do questions at the end. So
What did you say?
Yes, thank you so much,
Oh, he
Jennifer.
just stepped on.
Yep.
Oh, I think Olivia
Awesome.
still has her voicemail on.
I'm sorry.
All right, so let's move on to Kurt. Please share your screen, Kurt. Oh, and I want to do a shout out for Jordan. She was very helpful during the data collection process and setting up the survey and playing with the data. She was amazing. So yes, good choice for hiring her.
Yes, she is a great addition. So
Okay, I'm gonna be talking about Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, Small Business, Small Community Environmental Assistance Program. If you can't hear me or if the screens look like they're not progressing, let me know and I'll see what adjustments I need to make. Here's my information here. I am our group's technical advisor. And that's kind of means I'm a bit of a liaison between the rest of our staff and other agencies, and I help them with interpretations. The mission of our group is to provide environmental regulatory assistance and information to small businesses and communities. We've adopted the definition of a small business to be 100 or fewer employees, independently owned, and not a major stationary source of pollutants. And they aren't publicly traded either. We will sometimes assist businesses that don't meet that threshold based on the discretion of our agency and our group and the resources available. Our group was established in 1992 under the Federal Clean Air Act amendments to provide assistance to small businesses lacking the ability to comply with the environmental regulations. In July of '99, our program, expanded to provide multimedia assistance, meaning that we now address air emissions, hazardous and solid wastes, wastewater discharges, and other environmental regulatory compliance issues related to LDEQ. Kind of a list of the activities that we perform. We do conduct compliance consultations, which can usually include a site visit. And then we help people determine regulatory applicability, and we let them know how the regulations may affect a small business or their community. We do prepare permit applications and reports, registrations, and help them develop pollution prevention plans and disseminate information through newsletters and mailouts. And we give presentations for industry and civic groups, speak at conferences, and we do participate in outreach activities. So now I'm going to talk about the different medias, kind of what we do in each one. For air quality, we will help a facility determine or identify emission sources and pollutants from their processes. We'll help estimate, calculate emissions from each source. We can prepare minor source or miscellaneous activity permit applications and help them determine if they're exempt from air permitting. And we'll also assist with NESHAP and new source performance standards applicability and compliance determinations. On the water quality end, we help them with their NOIs and permit applications. We will help them implement and generate stormwater pollution prevention plans. We work on spill prevention control plans. That's our state spill regulations, and we help them determine whether that's necessary. We help them fill out notice of change forms, which is basically transferring permits if there's an ownership or operator change. And we will help them with termination forms if they're closing or if their discharge has been eliminated for various reasons. A big thing we do is to help with CDX and NetDMR registrations and submittals of the NetDMRs. There are additional permit compliance. We help them understand what the requirements are and help them implement any BMPs that they may need. We also consult with some small MS4s in the state regarding their requirements for that municipal stormwater permit. We assist with waste as well. We help companies fill out hazardous waste activity notification forms. We also do solid waste notification forms for industrial generators or transporters, collection facilities, non-process transfer stations, and waste tire generators. And we will do referrals for best management practice plans for solid waste. That's actually, those plans are kind of done by a different agency in the state, the Department of Agriculture and Forestry, but we work kind of closely with them to see who's eligible for that and whether that would exempt them from our solid waste regs. So that's kind of what we help companies do. Additionally, for all three media, another big thing we can do is help them interpret regulations and, if need be, facilitate meetings with permits division for each media to see if they need a permit and to help them figure out which permit and how that process will go if they would like that. Here's a bit of a cross section of the types of businesses we assist. We have a lot of small oil and gas production sites in our state, and seafood processing is another big industry that we work with. And then just those on-site small wastewater treatment plants for convenience stores, car washes, gas stations, any real office and warehouse, mobile home parks, things like that. We do have limitations on the services we can provide, like we will not do anything that requires a professional engineer certification or stamp. We don't do underground storage tank remediation plans or phase 1 or 2 environmental assessments. We don't assist with asbestos, lead, or radiation or groundwater remediation. And we don't do Title V or major source air permit applications because those are requiring PE certifications here. Some of the disqualifications for assistance from our program is if it's a criminal activity, if there's a serious hazard to health or the environment, or if it's a repeat violator. And they have DEQ or EPA pending enforcement action, but sometimes we will work through those actions to help them understand them, and we'll work in tandem with our enforcement division sometimes with that to help them process that and make sure that they're responding to it properly. But basically, if any time we deem that our limited resources could be better utilized, we may not be available for assistance. We do operate in accordance with the confidentiality option provided by the EPA enforcement response policy, meaning violations detected through our assistance will be kept confidential. So no information will be volunteered to our enforcement or surveillance sections unless the situation is deemed hazardous to human health and the environment. So kind of a summary of our program structure and our focus. We prioritize, the main priority is providing high quality technical compliance assistance to small businesses in Louisiana, but we will also support the overall goals and directives of our department's leadership team and the mission. So that latter part includes sometimes attending environmental conferences, volunteering at educational programs in schools and community events. As I previously discussed, we are a multimedia program, meaning we provide technical assistance for water quality, air quality, and solid and hazardous waste. And our program is housed within the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, which is the state's regulatory authority. We're in the office of the secretary within the agency. Being within the regulatory agency, I think, allows us access to better consultations with other agency divisions. So we can connect the businesses we assist, if need be, with their permit, and we can talk to permits sometimes if they want us to and say, hey, what is missing, or do you think this qualifies, and things like that. And like I previously said, if they're under a kind of a warning or enforcement action, we can be a liaison, say, hey, this is the paperwork they still need. So I think that's part of the main benefits of being in the regulatory agency, is to offer that context to them. Outside of occasional special projects assigned by agency leadership, our program usually maintains the same core duties and resources each year. All of our work offers this disclaimer, basically saying that our group cannot claim responsibility for omissions or inaccuracies, and that the business itself is ultimately responsible for the compliance with the regulations. And the LDEQ is the one who determines when that compliance is achieved. Our group is regional, meaning that we operate kind of in each portion of the state. We have both engineers and scientists spread throughout the state. As you can see, we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 full-time employees. And that's a good way to be able to get on the ground easier, is to be spread throughout the state that way. We also have a central hotline for our group where if the business calls, they'll be directed to the appropriate region based on the parish or county that the facility is located in. And we have a group email address if someone is looking for help and doesn't have a direct regional contact. And this is a link to our website right here. So what we like to tell groups is the best part about our program is that it is free, it is regional, it is multimedia, and it is non-enforcement. So that is all I have for y'all, and I'll be around for questions at the end as well. So we can move on to the next presenter.
Yes, thank you, Kurt. That was great. I have questions for you later.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, moving on to Texas and Diana. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Just let me know if you're having trouble. Thank you for inviting us to share our program with you. My name is Diana Steele. I am a team leader with our Small Business and Local Government Assistance Program. And on the call with me this afternoon, I have Shelly Nike. She's our program manager over the entire program. So if y'all have questions at the end that I can't answer, I'm pretty sure Shelly will be able to. So I'll go ahead and get started. We're the Small Business and Local Government Assistance Program within the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. TCEQ is a large agency. We're the second largest environmental agency in the U.S. with over 2,800 employees. We have 16 regional offices, including our headquarters in Austin, and we regulate over 30,000 entities. And so I'm going to get into how our small business program fits into that. Our program, our primary purpose is to assist customers with air, water, and waste regulations. Our staff provides technical assistance for multimedia. We are part of the Office of Compliance and Enforcement within TCEQ, the Program Support and Environmental Assistance Division. We have 4 teams. I mentioned I'm a team leader for one of them. Our staff is located in all 16 regional offices, so we're spread out across the state, and our program has a total of 56 full-time employees. So this map here just gives you kind of an overview, an idea of the areas our teams cover. We have the North Central and West Texas area, border and Permian Basin, Central Texas, and Coastal and East Texas. In addition to our compliance teams, we also have a rural ombudsman, and he's our liaison between TCEQ and local governments. He provides outreach and education, develops partnerships, and he frequently comes back to us and provides local government perspective on TCEQ rules and policy. So as I mentioned, our primary function is to provide multimedia compliance assistance to small businesses and small local governments. Our customers can be business and industry, local governments, like I mentioned, trade associations, sometimes other agencies that may have an environmental requirement to projects that they're working on. For example, our Department of Transportation, Parks and Wildlife. We frequently work with other agencies to help them comply with the rules as well. So we define a small business as any independently owned and operated company with 100 or fewer employees across all of their locations. And our small local governments are our cities of 50,000 or fewer, counties of 100,000 or fewer, or an ISD with 100,000 or fewer students. When we say small local governments, that typically means that we're going to be focusing our work on the smaller entities, but we will help anyone that calls us. So our folks will also assist larger entities and larger governments with things like wastewater treatment plants coming into compliance, drought and drought contingency plans, um, guidance on municipal recycling. But that doesn't cover everything that we help with. We'll move to the next slide. So we have technical assistance. We offer one-on-one help. Our folks are out in the regional offices. They go on site. They provide assistance via email, Teams meetings like these. We publish and provide compliance tools, and our assistance to our customers is free and confidential, similar to Louisiana. If we identify certain violations when we're assisting a customer, we don't share those with the enforcement arm of the agency. We help the customer get into compliance. So we have multiple programs within our group that help us achieve these goals that we have to assist our small business customers. We have a hotline, a 1-800 number that can be used anywhere in the state to call in and get help. We have an EnviroHelp website and email. We have our Environmentor program, which is a group of professional environmental folks that help our small businesses pro bono with some professional services. We produce the Advocate electronic newsletter to our subscribers. We have several Gov delivery groups that our customers can sign up for to get updates related to areas that they're interested in. And we put on multiple workshops and webinars throughout the year. So a little bit more about our hotline. It's open Monday through Friday. Our small business staff takes turns staffing it. Anyone can call in and get assistance through the hotline number. And we also have an email box that we monitor throughout the day, and we can provide assistance via email. We have our website, which we keep updated with topics that may be relevant to our small business customers. And we also provide in-person help in the office and going out in the field to visit our folks at their place of business. So this is just a screen grab of our website for our small businesses and local governments. You can see it has our hotline number there at the top. We have an option where customers can look for compliance specialists in their area. They can sign up to read the Advocate. They can sign up to get emails or text alerts when we publish new information. And down there at the bottom of our page, they can search by media, air, water, or waste that they're looking for assistance on. They can also go to small business assistance or local government assistance pages to receive information specific to their business or local government. And so that small business assistance link will take you to this page, which is sorted by, these are some of the most common industries that we work with for small businesses. So we have quite a few aggregate production operations in Texas. We work with a lot of the auto body industry, oil and gas, of course, wastewater treatment plant, and we have a fair number of wineries as well. A little bit more about our Environmentor program. This is free technical assistance provided by volunteer professionals. These are consultants, engineers, lawyers, operators who volunteer their time to help out small businesses and local governments around the state. There's a lot of benefit to this program, both for our volunteers and for our small businesses that get this type of assistance. A lot of times they don't have the resources to pay for professional services, and we can do kind of a matchmaker service and help them with some of those professional services. So I also mentioned we have the Advocate newsletter. It's a free newsletter that we publish on a regular basis. We let our folks know about rule changes, updates to rules, both state and federal, workshops and seminars that the agency may be going on. It's multimedia, so we provide updates on relevant topics for air, water, and waste. And we have our Gov delivery groups, which provide targeted outreach to these media, stormwater, MSW, petroleum storage tanks, drinking water, OSSF, wastewater, our landscape irrigators, and oil and gas activities. So they can sign up to get specific information for those topics. And then we put on, oops, skipped a slide there. Then we put on, our staff puts together workshops and webinars to try to reach the greater regulated community. Some of the ones that we've done recently have been the petroleum storage tank webinars. We put out some information for drinking water on the revised total coliform rule, emergency preparedness plans, managing small public water systems. Especially if we have quite a few transient non-community systems in the state that need compliance help, and the new industrial hazardous waste rules. So our newest venture is the Enforcement Diversion Program. So during the 88th legislative session, our lawmakers directed TCEQ to establish a new program called the Enforcement Diversion Program. It's housed with our Small Business and Local Government Assistance Program, and it allows qualifying small businesses and local governments who also have qualifying enforcement eligible violations an off-ramp on the enforcement path, and they come to us and we can help them with training, resources, and technical assistance to get back into compliance before TCEQ actually initiates enforcement actions. Um, During the approval of this bill, we were awarded 19 more FTEs to implement the program. So over the last 2 years, we've been hiring and training and scaling up our staff to be able to implement the program, developing our policy guidance and our SOPs. And we just launched the program on October 24th. So it is now up and running. Like I mentioned before, Shelly is our program manager. This is her contact information. She's at our Austin campus. So you'll notice that's an Austin number. We have her phone number and email address if you have any questions. And again, my name is Diana. I'm one of the team leaders with our program. I'm actually out in West Texas in the San Angelo region. There is my direct phone number and email as well. So, and Sarah, that's about all I had on our program today. But if there are questions, I'll be more than happy
Yep.
to answer
Thank
those.
you. Can you unshare your screen? Thank you. All right, that was wonderful. Thank you for all the speakers for presenting today. And now if you have a question, please unmute yourself or raise your hand and ask a question. Or if you're afraid to talk, you can put it in the chat and I can do it for you. Okay, I don't see any chats or questions, but I have a few. One, I wanted to comment, I'm gonna start with Iowa first. I want to comment that county graph that you put up there was a really great visual, Jennifer. And do you develop that graph or does someone else develop that graph to show where, is that the density of small businesses or the where you're going and doing your site visits and providing assistance at?
Yeah, so actually we also have created a map of which counties we provided assistance in because our program does reach all 99 counties in Iowa. But that particular map that I shared, I actually got it from the Office of Advocacy. And they had presented at our training in Utah. And so I went out to their website and they have state specific maps that have that information on them. So I would highly encourage anybody and everybody to go to the Office of Advocacy website and search for those maps. because I think they're a very nice representation. It's a little deceiving though, I would say, because I believe their definition of small business is 500 employees, but it still gives a pretty good representation of how many small businesses there are.
Yeah, I know there's a page on their webpage that has every state annual report, I think it's called, or something, that gives a every year that has that graph. So yes, now I know where that's from. I'll try to share that out on Maine once after this call. And we got a couple questions. For Texas, how were you successful recruiting volunteer engineers and lawyers and others to assist?
That is a great question. I see that there in the chat. So we have every year we put together an environmental trade fair. The agency does this, not just small business. And usually at trade fair, we do a big push requesting engineers and lawyers. We work with a lot of the universities in Texas, and so we might approach their engineering departments. We do a lot of networking every time we're at a conference. For example, we have the agency hosts a public drinking water conference every summer, and that draws a lot of operators because they come for continuing education. We have a booth there, and we approach a lot of the operators and say, hey, this would be a great way to get some volunteer hours in, to mentor some folks in your community, kind of give back. And so we have a process where our environmenters can apply. They're vetted through our program. After they apply, they send us a resume with their professional information. This is kind of leading into Tammy's question. So how do they get started? They apply for the program to be a volunteer. We vet them. There is an agreement that they can't use their volunteer work to recruit professional business for their own work. And then we have a project manager who manages our environmental program. When we have staff identify a small business or local government that might potentially benefit from that service, we sent it to our program manager. The program manager sends it out to our roster of environmenters in that media that may be interested in helping. And we usually get 2 or 3 volunteers that are interested in assisting the customer. And so we make that match. We do ask them to create a report of their assistance. And then at the end of the year, we tally up the number of businesses and the number of volunteer hours we were able to put forward. Oh, and Shelley, thank you, Shelley. Shelley dropped a link in the chat there to our environmentor website that should give you a few more details as well.
Thank you. And there's next question is for Louisiana. Can you read that? If not, I can read it for you.
Yes, I see it.
Okay.
What does your CDX assistance look like? So our enforcement division has put together some pretty thorough guidance documents for each step of CDX and FDMR registration data entry. So when it gets to us, the first thing, the intro, is to share those documents with them. But there are various ways we can perform direct assistances. Sometimes we will set up like a Teams meeting. They are also welcome to come to our regional offices to basically kind of use a guest account on the computers to work through their data entry or registration. We will also go out to the facilities and work through the online process with them, or meet them at a local library. So we can do both remote via Teams, or just kind of talking through the phone, or we can do in-person site visits either at the facility, at our regional office, or at local libraries. I think that's kind of what you were looking for, but if not, let me know.
All right. Is there anybody else want to ask a question or put it in the chat? All right. Well, I have a question for Kurt. Louisiana, that's the first time I've seen a sector for churches.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, yeah, they have energy use, they have solid waste issues, they have recycling issues. Why hadn't I thought about them? So was that what you provide for churches?
The main aspect we will work with on churches is their wastewater discharges. If
Oh,
they eventually do have additional questions, there's no real air emissions that they put out. Uh, if they have on-site generators would be the only thing, but those would usually be under the threshold for exemption. But normally, it's wastewater discharge, understanding of what permits are needed and helping them kind of determine what levels they fall into and help them with applications, reporting, things like that. It's basically the same assistance we offer to some of those other facilities. It's just a large portion of the types of wastewater treatment plants that we work with.
the other sector that kind of enticed me and made me a little hungry was Texas. You do work with food trucks. As guess I hadn't thought about that either. I mean, the generators make sense, but they're probably low. But do they have wastewater issues? Do they have discharges? Do they, is that what do you do? What do you supply for food trucks?
Yes, that is a super great question, because you wouldn't think of the food trucks as falling under our jurisdiction. And in most urban areas, they're regulated by the local authority. So if you think about like food trucks in Austin and Dallas and Houston, they typically are regulated by the local authority. But in rural areas, especially that are industry heavy like oil and gas, we have a lot of food trucks pop up that may actually meet the definition of public water supply systems. Because they are using that water for food prep, for dishwashing. They may have a little hand washing station. And so those are typically referred to us for assistance because they are very small. We have some resources developed around those types of things. We have some little pop-up restaurants that are similar, not necessarily a mobile food truck, but things that might be open for a couple hours for the lunch shift in oil field type places. So we help those out as well.
Okay, so we have 5 minutes. So if anyone else has any questions. All right. Well, then I want to thank all our speakers as well. I want to really thank all the attendees. We had up to 43 attendees for this presentation, so I'm really excited about that. I actually have another couple ideas for some new webinars. But that said, are there other topics that you would like presented that fit what the education is? And our education subcommittee is to educate each other on what we're doing and maybe implementing what one state is doing and implementing it in your own state. Just like this conversation going on in the chat was like, oh my goodness, I want volunteers and engineers to help with stuff. I think that's fantastic. I'm trying to think, there was another state that did that. I think New Hampshire actually had a program through the pollution prevention program with retired engineers many years ago. But anyway, so yeah, so if there's other topics you would be interested in, please share them now, or you can email myself or the education subcommittee group, or even put it out on Maine. That's on the listserv for Maine. And there's no any other questions. Okay. Any comments? All right, well then I'm going to stop the recording because maybe people have questions. They just don't want to do it while stop recording. Stop. All right.